Have you ever wondered why some people manage to build wealth even with a low income, while others live paycheck to paycheck, buried in debt? The answer may lie in something that hardly anyone talks about: invisible habits. And when it comes to smart financial habits, no one does it better than the Japanese. Today, you're going to discover 25 simple behaviors, deeply rooted in everyday life in Japan, that can completely transform your financial life. These practices don't rely on luck or a millionaire salary. They're within your reach, and best of all, they work. After studying the behaviors that build quiet wealth in Japan, I've gathered here what truly makes a difference. If you apply just one of these ideas, you might start seeing real results within the next few months. The invisible problem. We live in a society that constantly pushes us toward consumption. Sales, ads, unmissable discounts, everything seems designed to make us spend, even when we don't need to. The result? Thousands of people work all month just to survive until the next paycheck. Even when income increases, the problem persists. Why? Because the root lies in unconscious habits that slowly drain our money. Meanwhile, on the other side of the world, Japan shows us a different path. There, families are able to accumulate wealth without flaunting it, often earning less than people in Western countries. They don't live based on appearances. They live based on solid principles of discipline and respect for money. It's not that they earn more, they waste less. And here's the key point. Most people don't even realize where they're losing money. It's small leaks, bank fees, impulsive purchases, forgotten subscriptions, that, when added up, create a financial hole. In this video, you'll learn to recognize these blind spots. And more than that, you'll learn how the Japanese avoid these mistakes every single day. The Japanese secret: Mottainai and frugality. To understand why the Japanese are so financially effective, you need to know a central concept in their culture: Mottainai. This word, which is hard to translate literally, carries a powerful philosophy. Don't waste anything that might still have value. That applies to objects, time, energy, and of course, money. While the West is built on a mindset of consumption and constant replacement, Japan is built on appreciating what you already have. A simple gift can be more valuable than something expensive. A well-kept piece of clothing is worth more than a new one bought on impulse. It's a way of thinking that turns every purchase decision into a conscious act, and that changes everything. Another key word in this mindset is frugality. Frugality is not deprivation. It's wisdom in using resources. It's knowing how to spend with purpose, getting the most out of every cent, and escaping the trap of living to impress others. Japanese frugality is not a trend. It's a cultural norm. And it's precisely this culture that helps them build financial stability without needing high salaries or extraordinary gains. In the next chapters, you'll see how this philosophy works in practice, and how it can revolutionize the way you deal with money. Invisible expenses that drain your money. Have you ever stopped to think about how much money disappears from your account without you even noticing? Sometimes, you don't need a salary raise. You need to plug the invisible leaks. Let's start with one of the most common ones: bank fees and credit card charges. In the United States and many Latin American countries, people pay thousands of dollars or reais every year, just to keep an account running or for missing a payment deadline. Meanwhile, in Japan, cash is still widely used. It's not just a tradition. It's a conscious strategy to avoid interest, debt, and unpleasant surprises. They understand. When you feel the money physically leaving your hands, you spend less. It's psychological, and it works. Another silent leak comes from subscriptions you no longer use. How many streaming services, apps, platforms, or plans have you signed up for and simply forgotten to cancel? The Japanese are strict about this. After the financial crisis of the 1990s, families learned to review every monthly expense and eliminate anything that doesn't deliver real value. That's why the average number of subscriptions per person there is much lower than in Western countries. And what about bottled water? Have you ever done the math? Just one bottle a day can cost you over $500 per year. For a family, it could surpass $2,000. In Japan, even executives carry reusable water bottles. It's not just eco-friendly, it's financially smart. Instead of paying 2,000 times more for something already available at home, they invest in a good water filter and carry their own. Another villain: hidden travel and accommodation fees. You know those hotel deals that say $299 per night? In the end, you pay for Wi-Fi, cleaning fees, parking, resort fees, and the total easily goes over $500. In Japan, this is rare. The culture of omotenashi, which values genuine hospitality, means that prices already include everything. Transparency is part of the service. These expenses are like holes in a bucket. You try to fill it, but the water leaks out before reaching the top. And the more you ignore these small costs, the farther you drift from financial stability. The good news? All of these leaks can be fixed. With small actions like reviewing your bills, canceling unused subscriptions, using cash for minor purchases, and being selective with bookings and contracts, you'll start to notice money left over at the end of the month. In the next chapter, we'll talk about one of the biggest saboteurs of your wealth: impulse buying, and how the Japanese master the art of resisting it. How impulse buying sabotages your wealth. If invisible expenses are like quiet leaks, impulse buying is like turning on the faucet and letting your money flow away. Who hasn't walked into a store to buy just one thing and walked out with multiple bags and $300 less in their account? This isn't about lack of control, it's by design. Stores are built for this. Lighting, background music, scents, layout, everything is designed to make you buy without thinking. Now let's see how the Japanese deal with this. They have a concept called kao mai ni kangaroo, which literally means think before buying. This philosophy comes from the post-war scarcity and teaches a powerful lesson. If a purchase doesn't clearly improve your life, it's not worth it. This mindset is also reflected in clothing purchases. While the average American buys over 60 pieces of clothing per year and wears less than 20% of what they own, the Japanese follow the opposite logic. They embrace minimalist and conscious consumption. They prefer fewer items, but of high quality and versatility. Before buying something, many apply the 30-use rule. Will I wear this at least 30 times? If the answer is no, the purchase is dismissed. Another trap is fast fashion. While the West is locked into trend cycles that change every season, the Japanese invest in timeless clothing, neutral colors, classic cuts, pieces that mix and match easily. The result? A wardrobe that's more practical, stylish, and cost-effective. Want a practical way to fight impulse buying? Try the 30-day rule. Felt the urge to buy something? Write it down. Wait 30 days. If it still makes sense and fits your budget, buy it. If not, forget it. You'll be surprised how many urgent desires vanish on their own. The difference between someone who builds wealth and someone constantly chasing money often lies in these quick moments of emotional decision. The good news is that self-control is like a muscle. The more you train it, the stronger it gets. In the next chapter, you'll see how the Japanese use strategic thinking before every purchase, and how this turns every expense into a conscious decision. The power of conscious consumption. Buying less doesn't mean living with less. In fact, when you start consuming consciously, you realize that you can actually live better with less. And that's one of the keys to Japanese financial intelligence. In Japan, consumption begins before you even take money out of your wallet. There's a cultural principle called Ichigen-san, which translates to never accept the first offer, seikuruti. This isn't just about bargaining. It's about comparing, evaluating, and reflecting before making a purchase. Whether it's for an appliance, clothing, or even a restaurant, the average Japanese person evaluates at least 3 options before making a decision. They look at price, durability, functionality, and even cost per use. This awareness is also reflected in their preference for quality over quantity. Instead of buying 5 cheap products that will break within a year, they invest in a durable item that will last for years. In the long run, this choice ends up being cheaper and more sustainable. A classic example is the envelope system, called Shunyu Bukuro. Here's how it works. At the beginning of the month, you separate your physical money into envelopes labeled for each expense category: food, transport, leisure, etc. When the envelope is empty, you simply stop spending in that category. This method is visual, tactile, and brutally effective. It forces you to watch the money disappear, which creates a real sense of limitation, something that cards and digital payments often blur. If you don't want to use physical envelopes, you can replicate the same principle with separate bank accounts or budgeting apps. The logic is the same. Spend only what is within the defined limit. Another rule commonly used by Japanese families is the cost per use rule. Before buying something, ask yourself, how many times will I use this? Then divide the price by your estimated number of uses. A $200 piece of clothing worn 40 times costs $5 per use. But a $50 blouse worn only twice costs $25 per use. Which one is truly more worth it? This kind of thinking transforms your relationship with money. Instead of asking, "Can I afford this?" you start asking, "Does this improve my life? Does it have real purpose?" Conscious consumption isn't just about saving money. It's about spending with intelligence and intention. It's about turning every real you spend into something that truly gives value back to you. And the best part? This kind of consumption reduces anxiety, disorganization, and post-purchase regret. In the next chapter, we'll see how this philosophy extends into the home and how Japanese minimalism helps save money, time, and energy. Less is more. The minimalist lifestyle. After understanding the power of conscious consumption, the next natural step is to look around and ask yourself, do I really need all of this around me? In Japan, that question guides not only purchases, but also their way of life. There, minimalism isn't just a trendy aesthetic from Pinterest. It's a life philosophy with real financial impact. Japanese homes tend to be simple, functional, and organized. Every item has a clear purpose, and anything that isn't useful or doesn't bring direct value is simply removed. This mindset comes from a concept called danshari, which proposes 3 attitudes. 1. Refuse what is not essential. 2. Let go of what no longer has utility. 3. Free yourself from the clutter that causes anxiety and unnecessary expenses. This conscious detachment is reflected in everyday decisions. For example, instead of filling the house with decorative objects bought on impulse, the Japanese opt for clean spaces where each element was chosen intentionally. And this choice isn't just aesthetic, it directly impacts the wallet. Fewer things mean fewer expenses, less maintenance, fewer replacements, and more mental clarity. The same logic applies to appliances and furniture. They avoid buying the latest model or something just because it looks good. They prefer functionality, durability, and compatibility with their space, even if that means letting go of unnecessary luxuries. And when something breaks, the natural response in the West is replace it. But in Japan, the tradition of kintsugi teaches the opposite. Repairing is an act of respect. By restoring an object, you acknowledge its ongoing value and avoid an unnecessary expense. This lifestyle has a powerful side effect. With fewer objects, less clutter, and fewer distractions, you gain more time, more focus, and more money for what truly matters. In the next chapter, you'll see how the Japanese avoid everyday traps, from the kitchen to transportation. and how this can lead to surprising savings month after month. Avoiding everyday traps. Even those who have adopted a more minimalist lifestyle still have to face the small traps of everyday life. These are seemingly harmless decisions that, when added up over the course of a month, silently drain your budget. One of the biggest culprits is eating out. In the West, it's common to have lunch at restaurants, order delivery several times a week, or resort to fast food for convenience. But in Japan, the tradition of bringing a homemade lunch, the famous bento box, is deeply rooted. Besides being cost-effective, this option allows for greater control over ingredients, quality, and portion sizes. Eating out becomes the exception, not the rule. Another common habit that weighs on the wallet is the overuse of specialized cleaning products for every surface: glass cleaner, wood cleaner, kitchen cleaner, bathroom cleaner. In Japan, many families use just 3 basic ingredients: white vinegar, baking soda, and neutral soap. With these 3, they clean nearly the entire house. The result: savings, fewer chemicals in the environment, and less cluttered cabinets. And what about big, expensive cars? SUVs, pickup trucks, and luxury models are often bought for status, not necessity. On Japanese streets, compact and fuel-efficient vehicles dominate, designed to fit narrow streets and consume less fuel. Less fuel, less maintenance, lower insurance. This strategic decision can save thousands per year, not to mention reducing environmental impact. The lesson is clear. What seems convenient in the short term can be very costly in the long term. Whether it's the quick snack, the luxury car, or the cabinet full of expensive bottles, all of it can be replaced by simpler, more functional, and financially smarter solutions. And the best part? By making these more conscious choices, you're not just saving money, you're gaining control over your life. In the next chapter, we'll explore how the Japanese build financial stability, not just by cutting expenses, but through long-term habits, including automatic saving, family cooperation, and early financial education. Habits that build long-term stability. So far, we've talked a lot about cutting waste and making conscious choices. But there's another fundamental side to the Japanese mindset: the creation of long-lasting habits. Saving money isn't enough. You need to create a system that will sustain your finances for years, or even generations. The first of these habits is Kakeibo, a traditional Japanese method of managing finances that has been used for over 100 years. It consists of a notebook where all income and expenses are recorded by hand. No complicated spreadsheets, no fancy apps with colorful charts. The idea is simple. When you write it down, you think about it. And when you think about it, you spend better. Studies show that those who use Kakeibo can save up to 35% more than those who don't track their spending. And beyond the numbers, this habit builds awareness and responsibility, 2 foundational pillars of real wealth. Another powerful habit is group saving, known as Tanomoshi. Here's how it works. A group of friends, co-workers, or family members meet monthly, each contributing a fixed amount. Each month, one person receives the full amount. This model fosters discipline, mutual support, and a sense of accountability. Additionally, studies show that people who save in groups are 75% more likely to reach their financial goals. It's like having a gym buddy, but for your finances. But perhaps the most impactful difference in Japanese culture lies in the way money is taught from an early age. While many countries overlook financial education in schools, in Japan, this learning starts at home, in childhood. There, it's common for children to be given 3 jars or containers, labeled 1. Spend for immediate wants. 2. Save for future goals. 3. Invest to build long-term wealth. This simple division creates a powerful mindset. Instead of associating money only with spending, they learn to plan, prioritize, and grow it. And it doesn't stop there. Rather than just giving allowance, parents encourage their children to earn their own money through small tasks. This teaches the value of effort and creates a direct link between work, reward, and responsibility. The combination of these three pillars, manual tracking, Kakeibo, cooperation, Tanomoshi, and early education, completely transforms the Japanese relationship with money. They don't rely on luck or talent. They build a solid foundation that supports them throughout their lives. In the next chapter, we'll discuss a decisive point for financial health: emotional intelligence when it comes to debt, and how the Japanese distrust of credit can help save you from financial slavery. Emotional intelligence and financial discipline. There is a silent enemy of personal finances that few have the courage to confront: easy credit. Credit cards, installment plans, buy now, pay later. All of it seems harmless until you realize you're working just to pay interest. In the West, using a credit card is as common as breathing. But in Japan, this practice is approached with great caution. There, only 18% of purchases are made with credit cards, and not because people lack access, but because they have the emotional intelligence to avoid it. In Japanese culture, debt is not a convenience. Debt is an unnecessary burden that steals your freedom. There's even a saying there: debt is heavier than any load the body can carry. By choosing to pay with cash or debit, the Japanese create a psychological connection with the act of spending. They feel the money leave their hands, and that reduces impulsive spending by up to 18%, according to studies. Want to apply this in real life? Try the 30-day no credit challenge. Pay for everything with cash or debit. By the end of the month, you won't just have spent less. You'll have developed self-control and clarity about your true priorities. In the next chapter, we'll talk about investment, but not the traditional kind. We'll explore the so-called invisible assets, the ones no one sees, but that make all the difference in times of crisis. Invest in what no one can take from you. What if, overnight, you lost everything you have? Your house, your car, your money, your investment. How long would it take you to get back on your feet? For many people, that thought is terrifying. But for the Japanese, the answer to that question lies in a type of investment that doesn't show up on your bank statement. These are the so-called invisible assets. They're not physical, and they're not financial. They're intangible, but incredibly valuable. Among them are 1. Your network of relationship, trusted people who refer you, hire you, or support you. 2. Your reputation, built through integrity, discipline, and responsibility. 3. Your knowledge and skills, what you know how to do that no one can take away from you. In Japan, these assets are nurtured with the same care people give to their retirement savings. And in times of crisis, these are the assets that truly matter. A real-life example: a Japanese entrepreneur lost everything during the 2008 crisis. But within weeks, investors were already offering him capital to start over. Why? Because he had built trust, competence, and solid relationship. Here's the lesson: you can lose money, but if you have invisible assets, you'll never truly be broken. In the next chapter, we'll show how Japan combines this mindset with a culture of lifelong learning, where investing in yourself is just as important as investing in stocks. Japanese-style investment strategies. After understanding the value of invisible assets, it's time to look at visible financial investments, but with a different mindset than what the market usually promotes. While in the West, many people try to get rich quick through bets on cryptocurrencies, volatile stocks, or trendy fads, the Japanese follow a simple, disciplined, and highly effective approach. Invest consistently without trying to predict the market. This strategy is known as constant flow investing. Instead of trying to time the market perfectly, they invest the same amount every month, regardless of whether the market is up or down. In doing so, they reduce risk and build wealth steadily. Another important principle is prefer simple and safe investment. Index funds, stocks with stable dividends, and long-term applications are their top picks. They don't seek explosive returns. They seek sustainable growth. And most importantly, they never invest what they can't afford to lose. Only a portion of what remains after essential expenses is saved. The exact opposite of the high-risk mentality so common in other cultures. Want a practical example? Imagine investing $200 per month in a fund with an average annual return of 8%. In 25 years, you'll have over $180,000 without needing to make any bold bets. The magic lies in consistency and patience. In Japan, investing is a habit. It's not an event. It's not driven by emotion, but by method. They treat money like a seed. You plant it little by little, tend to it carefully, and harvest it at the right time. In the next chapter, we'll explore the philosophy that sums up this entire mindset: quiet wealth. You'll understand why, in Japan, millionaires often go unnoticed, and how this might be the key to building lasting wealth without falling into the trap of showing off. True wealth is quiet. If you saw a Japanese millionaire walking down the street, you probably wouldn't recognize him. He'd be wearing simple clothes, driving a modest car, and living in an unassuming home. Why? Because in Japan, true wealth doesn't need to be displayed. It grows quietly. While in many cultures success is measured by imported cars, expensive watches, and luxury homes, the Japanese follow a different logic. Don't spend to look rich. Invest to be rich. This mindset is known as quiet wealth. They avoid the trap of lifestyle inflation, that urge to spend more every time you earn more. Even with high salaries or big profits, many continue to live below their means. The reason is simple. The less you spend to maintain an image, the more you can accumulate assets that actually generate wealth, like real estate, businesses, investments, and knowledge. This approach also protects mental health. Less comparison, less pressure, less need for external validation. And the most interesting part? Most wealthy Japanese people don't talk about how much they have. They prefer to let their money work quietly, while they keep their personal lives discreet and balanced. Throughout this video, you've discovered 25 Japanese financial habits that can completely transform your financial life. And the most powerful part? They're all simple, practical, and accessible. Let's recap these habits in 4 core pillars. 1. Smart expense cutting. Avoid bank fees and credit card interest. Cancel forgotten subscriptions. Swap bottled water for a reusable bottle. Steer clear of hidden hotel and service fees. Buy only what's necessary and at the right time. 2. Conscious consumption and minimalism. Compare prices before buying. Ichigen-san. Choose quality over quantity. Use the envelope system to manage spending. Apply the cost per use principle. Keep your home simple and functional. Repair instead of replacing. 3. Discipline and financial education. Use the Kakeibo method to track expenses. Join group savings initiatives, Tanomoshi. Teach the value of money early on. Build self-control to avoid debt. Invest in knowledge, your network, and your reputation. 4. Sustainable wealth building. Invest monthly with consistency. Choose safe, long-term assets. Avoid showing off. Embrace quiet wealth. Prioritize experiences over possessions. These habits don't require drastic changes. They require consistency, intention, and clarity. In the next chapter, we'll talk about what truly makes a difference, the decision to act, and why you don't need to wait any longer to begin. Maybe by now you're thinking, all of this makes sense, but where do I start? The answer is, start small, but start today. Don't wait for a raise. Don't wait to pay off all your debts. Financial transformation doesn't start with money. It starts with mindset. Most people live on autopilot. They spend without noticing, buy without thinking, ignore the numbers. But now you can't say you didn't know. You've seen that the Japanese don't build wealth through luck or inheritance. They build it with awareness, simplicity, and discipline. And you can too. Apply just one habit per week. Review your subscriptions. Adopt the 30-day rule before buying anything. Track your expenses manually for 7 days. You'll notice something powerful: the feeling of control. Because at the end of the day, money isn't just math. It's emotional. It's about how you feel when managing it. Peace, autonomy, freedom. These are the real forms of wealth. And remember, it's not about looking rich. It's about being free. Free from compulsive consumption. Free from debt. Free from stress. In the final chapter, we invite you to take the first step. Because knowledge without action is just another forgotten good intention. Now that you know the 25 habits the Japanese use to build wealth silently and sustainably, there's only one thing left: take action. You don't have to apply everything at once. Choose just one habit and implement it today. Maybe it's switching from bottled water to a reusable bottle, or reviewing your subscriptions and canceling the ones you didn't even remember. Maybe it's tracking every expense for the next 7 days. What matters is shifting from spectator mode to becoming the protagonist of your own financial life. If this content resonated with you, like the video, share it with someone who needs this, and subscribe to the channel. These actions help us continue creating content that truly delivers value. And if you want to go even further, comment below. Which of these habits will you apply first? Your answer might inspire someone else to start too. And remember, financial freedom isn't some distant goal. It begins the moment you decide to stop wasting and start valuing what you already have. It's when you replace "I deserve to buy this now" with "I choose to invest in my future." It's when you understand that money should work for you, not the other way around. The journey begins with a single step. And if you've made it this far, you're already ahead of most. Now it's time to turn knowledge into action. True wealth is built in silence, and it starts with simple decisions like these.